guys, my name's Miranda and today I'm here to react to the new teaser trailer for the Netflix movie Damsel, starring Millie Bobby Brown, who honestly at this point I feel we can call the princess of Netflix. The only other ones I've seen from Netflix are the Enola Holmes movies, but I love those. And she was also supposed to be starring in, I don't know if it's still happening, but it was a movie based on a book that I love, The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharp. Loved that book, and I think Millie would do a really great job as the main character. So I hope they're still doing that. But yeah, Damsel I had briefly heard about, I think when I was looking up like upcoming movies or something. It was originally supposed to be released this year, but then everything with the strike and all that got it delayed, but now they have a deal for their strike, which is awesome. So that being said, the teaser trailer was just released, and like I said, it is a teaser trailer, which usually I don't even bother like really reacting to those because they're so quick, but this one's over 2 minutes and I feel like it gives you a lot of like what the movie's going to be about. Maybe not necessarily like the plot exactly, but just like a lot of like action-packed scenes. So the plot specifically, which I had heard about: a dutiful damsel agrees to marry a handsome prince only to discover it was all a trap. The royal family recruited her as a sacrifice to repay an ancient debt. She is then thrown into a cave with a fire-breathing dragon, having to solely rely on her wits and will to survive. So sounds amazing. It also reminded me a lot of this Joey King movie. I think it was just called The Princess or something like that. But it was about like this family where they were kidnapped and like she was the princess of the family and she managed to like get away and evade and then like just started taking everyone out like one by one. And it was really cool. I think they took it off Hulu now that they do like that stupid thing where like they remove movies for some reason, but I really liked it and I wish I could watch it more. So like if this movie is like that, I'll be really excited to check it out. It's surprisingly not based on a book. I thought it was when I first read it because it reminds me a lot of that Catherine Langford show, remember, Cursed or whatever, that was like a like Arthur Legend kind of remix that didn't do well. So I hope this is gonna be better than that. But yeah, I'm excited to check the trailer out and see kind of more of the look into it, and maybe, I don't think it has a release date yet, but if it was gonna be out in October of this year, I'm hoping that like that means they can get it out soon, you know? Oh, the song. Scary. It's very claustrophobic. I mean, yeah, if she's stuck in a cave. Oh my gosh. My hands hurt just looking at that. I thought she was inside the dragon for a second. That is breathtaking. Like, so scary, but breathtaking. I wonder, like, Angela Bassett playing her stepmom, I'm thinking she's good. Like, I hope her parents, like, aren't setting her up to this cult to be sacrificed knowing it, you know? The bioluminescence is pretty. Oh my gosh, how many do you need? Like, is it worth it? That's a lot. It's just crazy that, like, it's not even her kingdom, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think she's gonna be good, the way she was, like, looking at them. Nick Robinson? Oh my gosh. Oh, she got that tangled bob. I love it. Okay, that's the picture I saw before, like, of it, and I am not in love with the outfit. I'm gonna be honest with you. It looks really good. It does remind me a lot, if you have seen like Princess, but like almost more fantasy, because Princess was like it took place like in medieval times, but I don't really think they had, if I'm remembering correctly, like anything necessarily supernatural or anything like that. But yeah, just the visuals of that look so stunning, and I feel like this obviously is going to be very focused on Millie Bobby Brown as the princess. So like she's going to have to sell it, and I definitely think like she is up for the challenge of like being an action star in a way. Nick Robinson as the love interest I find interesting, I'm just gonna say. Like, I hope, because I think it would be more interesting that he is like in on this, and even if it's like originally you think like he's not in on this, but then like you find out afterwards he is knowing about like this whole sacrifice thing and tricking these poor girls into thinking they're gonna marry him, and then they get sacrificed to a dragon. Although in a way you do have to wonder, like, eventually he is gonna have to marry someone to like keep the bloodline going, so like how do you decide like who, you know what I mean? Like, that's, I'm getting too far into it. They'll probably explain that. But just Nick Robinson being the love interest for Millie Bobby Brown gives me kind of the ick. Like, I love Nick Robinson, don't get me wrong, but like he's been a love interest in things since I was like 15. So for him to be the love interest now of a 19-year-old Millie Bobby Brown, that's a little questionable to me. Like, Love Simon was 2018, Millie Bobby Brown was 14 when that came out, and he was a whole 20-year-old, 20-plus-year-old playing a teenager. So I just really hope that, like, that's just, you know, adding into that factor of, like, this is, like, an older guy. I know he looks young, but, like, this is, like, an older guy. Don't give him a 19-year-old love interest, because I feel like that feeds into the whole, like, you know, the guys can always stay and play the love interest no matter what they are, but, like, their female counterparts get younger and younger. A perfect example I can think of is in Tarzan. It's one of the Skarsgård guys, not the one who plays Pennywise. His love interest is like a 24-year-old like Margot Robbie, and then like 10 years later or something, maybe 7, because I don't think Margot Robbie is 34 now, but however many years later, he was in another like movie where his love interest was Anya Joy-Taylor, and it's like, she was the age that Margot Robbie was, like, way back when Tarzan came out. So, like, that just frustrates me. So, like, as much as I love Nick Robinson, like, just don't want him to be the love interest. I want her to have an age-appropriate love interest, or no love interest at all. Like, if it's gonna be the fact that, like, he is in on this, which I think would be a good twist, and, like, she doesn't have a love interest and, like, has to save herself, that I am completely here for. I think the whole thing of, like, escaping the cave and all that sounds very, very interesting, because you could even kind of see, I think, more and more, obviously, as the story progresses, based on, like, how much of her, like, poofy ball gown is left, you know, like, where she is. But I just like the idea of, like, all these different trials she has to figure out. So we definitely at least saw, like, right away was escaping that fire-breathing dragon, I'm assuming, when it, like, shot out. Then there was climbing up that literal crystal cave, so it's, like, breaking, like, bleeding your hands and stuff like that. And then she does all that, it looks like, just to get to the end of the cliff and think, like, oh, now I have a way out, and it's like you're literally trapped in the side of a mountain, so how are you gonna get out of that now? And I did see some people talking about, like, it would be really cool if, like, she could get the dragon on her side or something like that and get revenge against this village that used her as a pawn, which I think would be really cool. I'm not used to, like, them not being based on books, so there's so many questions that I have, but I think it looks really, really good. The only part that, like, made me iffy, aside from the love interest stuff, was the outfit she had at the end. I'm not a huge fan of it, okay? Like, I love me a bob. She's got the tangled bob, and I do love when it's, like, you know, frilly, poofy, princessy, like, has to, like, cut her hair or something like that, right? I feel like that's, like, a very easy way to show, like, a transformation, because it's, like, the physical transformation matches the emotional transformation that she's gone on. But the outfit, like, it's not doing it for me. It's very reminiscent, and I am very particular about, like, I hate when, like, you put a fantasy girl character and, like, for some reason she's just got boobalicious armor, right? Like, the cleavage is a little too much for me, and I can see the attempt where they're like, oh, it's supposed to be like armor because it's like leather, but it's like, does it have to be that short? And again, why is it turning down to, like, show off cleavage? Like, it's frustrating, because it's like she's in a world where, like, that would be the last thing that, like, we'd be worried about, and it's always reminiscent of, like, even when these movies try and do something great about making it, like, female empowerment, you can still tell kind of when the male gaze is there, and I think that is very much the male gaze, because that outfit to me does not look as empowering and badass as you would want that moment to be. Like, I get, like, losing, like, her big poofy skirts and, like, wrapping the petticoats around as, like, you know, a way to get out of the cave and all that, but it's just like, I don't know. Can't we cover more? Like, wouldn't you want, like, leather on your arms and stuff? Like, it's just, and again, it's one of my pet peeves with, like, armor like that. I just think it's always so stupid when, like, guys get the most, like, realistic armor, and then girls, it's just like, no, we need to see your cleavage, or else how are we gonna know you're a girl? So maybe it'll look better in the show. I just think that particular still, since I had seen it before, I was always just like, ugh, it doesn't look great. But the movie itself looks great, and I'm really excited to see kind of, like, this battle, it looks like, between, like, the queen of that land that's trying to sacrifice her, and then Angela Bassett, who's playing her stepmother, I think is going to be good. It seems like her family doesn't really know, hopefully, or at least her stepmother doesn't know, hopefully, about what this is, so it'll be nice that she has someone kind of fighting for her on the outside, maybe trying to figure out what's happening. Like, maybe they don't really know that she's been kidnapped. They think, like, she's just getting prepared for the wedding or something like that. And then I also want to see, yeah, more about, like, what exactly the prince's role is in all this, since obviously, like, he will have to marry someone. So if word starts traveling around that, like, hey, that princess didn't come back, and, like, she was supposed to marry him, that's kind of weird, right? Like, I feel like it would make it hard for like other people to come and like actually be part of this village. It was giving off like very cult vibes too, like when they all had like those golden masks on and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see just how much of like brute force it is of like, oh, you're here, we're taking you, versus how much of finessing it is of like, oh, we're so excited you're here, like come with us to like the bridal chamber, like your stepmom can meet you there later, you know, and stuff like that. Because I think it could go either way and it'll be very interesting. It'll feel more like a chess game, I think, if we kind of have that of like, oh, can I see her, and like, oh yeah, she's just getting ready. But I could also see where it feels more scary from the get-go if it's just like you arrive and the gold mask people like kidnap you and are like, nope, like you're in our world now, sorry, you know what I mean? So I'm excited. I think it looks really good, and yeah, I just think Millie Bobby Brown is the darling of Netflix, and I really like the Enola Holmes films, and I think this is a different kind of role, more action-packed, and I'm just excited to see what she pulls off and how the movie is. So yeah, if you have seen the trailer for it, please feel free to leave your thoughts about it down in the comments. If you're looking forward to it and what you expect it to be like and what you're hoping for with like the prince and the characters and all of that. So yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye!